This is SriRam Shastri. I once again welcome you back to my new video session. Now this video is the continuation of the chapter human reproduction, and today we are talking about the word gametogenesis and the types of it with respect to male and female. Okay, so first of all, what is gametogenesis? Gametogenesis is the process of production of gametes inside the gonads. Gametes are haploid cells produced by the meiotic division, and the gonads are the reproductive organs of the organisms. So when we are talking about with respect to human reproduction, the gonads for male are testes and the gonads for female are ovaries, and the gametes produced in testes are spermatozoa, the gametes produced in the ovaries are ovum or egg. Clear? So we'll talk about this very clearly. Then in terms of production of sperms or spermatozoa, it is called as spermatogenesis, and in females it is called as oogenesis. The process of production of spermatozoa inside the testis is called as spermatogenesis, whereas the process of formation or production of ovum inside the ovary is called as oogenesis. This is the definition. Now first we'll talk about spermatogenesis, then we'll go for the oogenesis. I have written it on the same board so that you can also compare and understand the differences between these two. Clear? So first, if you talk about the first difference here is the onset of puberty is the stage where spermatogenesis starts. Spermatogenesis starts at the onset of puberty. Okay, so the germinal epithelium develops into the cells called as spermatogonia. Spermatogonia are diploid cells. Now wherever I have written 2N, it refers to diploid. Wherever it is N, it is haploid. Now what is haploid and what is diploid, you have already studied in your PU1 or 11th standard with respect to cell and cell division chapter. Okay, so still I would like to tell you, diploid is complete set of chromosomes and haploid is half set of chromosomes. So for example, human beings are having 46 chromosomes, or if you write it in pairs, it is 23 pairs. Now this is the diploid condition. Haploid condition for that is only 23 chromosomes. Only 23 refers to N. 23 pairs refers to 2N or diploid. Clear? So spermatogonia is a diploid cell. It undergoes mitosis, which is the equational division, and produces diploid cells itself. These are called as spermatocytes or primary spermatocytes. Now these primary spermatocytes, they undergo meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 to produce haploid cells. First meiotic division produces 2 haploid cells called secondary spermatocytes, and at the end of second meiotic division they produce 4 haploid spermatids. Okay, 4 haploid spermatids. They are not still called as spermatozoa or sperms because they are not motile. Okay, so there are 4 phases what these represent for. First phase is the multiplication phase, second phase is the growth phase, third phase is the maturation phase, and fourth phase is called as spermatogenesis, spermatogenesis or spermiogenesis. Okay, spermiogenesis is structural differentiation of a haploid cell into a functional motile sperm. Okay, up to this spermatogenesis is over. After that spermiogenesis takes place or spermateliosis takes place. Clear? So what is these 4 stages? I have mentioned it very clearly. Now with respect to the division, as I told, these diploid cells, they divide and produce 4. So at the end of one meiotic division in spermatogenesis, 4 spermatids are produced. 4 spermatids, they undergo structural changes, and the process is called as spermiogenesis to produce 4 functional spermatozoa. Clear? Now which hormones are responsible for it? The hormones from pituitary are FSH and ICSH. What is this FSH? Follicle stimulating hormone released from pituitary, and ICSH stands for interstitial cell stimulating hormone, which stimulates the Leydig cells to produce the male hormone, that is testosterone. Again, testosterone is also responsible for the process of spermatogenesis to occur. So combinedly these 3 hormones regulate the process of spermatogenesis. Coming to oogenesis now. Oogenesis is quite different from spermatogenesis. Oogenesis occurs in 3 different regions or 3 different stages of life. Prenatal life, that is fetal life, before birth, after birth, and after puberty. Before birth, what happens is the first phase, that is the multiplication phase. The growth phase extends from after birth till puberty. At the onset of puberty, the third phase, that is the maturation phase, takes place. Okay, so firstly, if you talk about the division, it is similar. What is that? It is a diploid cell. What diploid cell is called as? Oogonium. From oogonium, it undergoes mitosis to produce two cells which are again diploid, called as primary oocytes. Now these primary oocytes, they undergo meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Okay, but at the end of meiosis 1, they produce secondary oocyte. Now here quite difference is there. What is that? Here all four of them are developed into spermatozoa, whereas here out of all four only one develops into a gamete and remaining three remain as polar bodies. Now they are non-functional. Polar bodies are non-functional. They don't have any function. Okay, and unequal division is also there. The cytoplasmic division is unequal. One cell is smaller and the other cell is larger. You can see meiosis 1 forms one secondary oocyte and one polar body. This is primary polar body which is smaller. This is secondary oocyte which is larger. At the end of second meiotic division, one large ootid or ovum is produced and three small non-functional polar bodies are produced. Okay, so this type of division takes place inside the follicles. Okay, so inside the follicles, the process of gametogenesis or oogenesis takes place in ovaries. In seminiferous tubules, the process of spermatogenesis takes place. Seminiferous tubules is the site of spermatogenesis and follicles are the site of oogenesis. Okay, so primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle and Graafian follicle, and then Graafian follicle ruptures to release the mature ovum or secondary oocyte, which is then taken up by the fallopian tube with the help of fimbriae for fertilization. This I have already discussed in the topic called menstrual cycle. Okay, so these three phases are the first phase, multiplication phase, growth phase and maturation phase. The first phase occurs before birth in fetal life. The second phase occurs after birth till puberty. The third phase occurs at the onset of puberty. Now this particular phase occurs in every 28 days, which is called as menstrual cycle. In every menstrual cycle, one ovum is produced. Accidentally, sometimes both the ovaries may produce two ovum, which may result in formation of two fetus if there is a fertilization. So what are those type of twins and all, we'll discuss in fertilization topic. For continuation of this topic, we'll have another video session with respect to fertilization. So I would like to stop this video here itself. I think it's very clear the differences and the process of gametogenesis with respect to male and female, or spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Thank you.